Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat podcast, your one-stop shop for daily Miami Heat content. For today's episode, I want to talk about Terry Rozier. There's a few updates that I wanted to share regarding Terry. So, first of all, the good news is that Anthony Chang of the Miami Herald said that Terry Rozier has been cleared for 5-on-5, and he's expected to be ready for training camp, which happens next week in the Bahamas for the Miami Heat. So really good news. I think a few weeks ago it was reported that Terry was only playing 3-on-3 and wasn't fully recovered or ready for full contact or 5-on-5 due to his neck injury he sustained last year after he was traded to the Miami Heat during the trade deadline. And so Terry Rozier is excited. He's looking forward to having the opportunity to play this upcoming season with the Miami Heat, and he's going to be able to participate in his first training camp with his teammates, which is definitely going to be valuable because Terry last year, again, he only played 31 games with the Miami Heat. He missed the last 11 games of the regular season and all of the playoffs against the Celtics, his former team, due to a neck injury that eventually put him in a neck brace, and we still don't know how he really obtained the injury. So he spent 5 months recovering, which was super tough. Like I can't believe it took that long to recover, but it makes sense because I mean, obviously your neck, your back, those are some areas that take a lot of time to heal. So he was quoted saying, "This is the first summer where I had to rehab from the beginning and take steps to put it in somebody else's hands and trust them." But he said, "This has probably been one of my best summers. It's been a great time for me. The Heat organization has been doing a great job every day to where we are right now." And he said he's excited to get a full training camp under his belt. It's a fresh start, and he gets to be around his teammates for a full season. He gets to learn the plays, build camaraderie with the other guys. So he thinks it's going to be super helpful, which is good because Terry played pretty well. Like he had an up and down, 31 games with the Miami Heat. Didn't start off too hot because he was joining a brand new team. So it's hard to get traded midseason and build chemistry immediately and learn the plays and learn the system. And he went from a team where the best player, LaMelo Ball, was injured for most of the season. So he took the most shots. He was the leading scorer for the team, where he scored 23 points or so per game for the Hornets. For the Miami Heat, he only averaged 16.4 points, which is still fine. He shot 37% from three, which is good. He averaged 4.2 rebounds, great for an undersized guard, and 4.6 assists in 31 minutes. So not too bad for someone who just joined the Miami Heat, and it took time. And then before his injury, his final 2 weeks, he was averaging like 23, 24 points per game. He was on a really good streak, shooting lights out from three. He was really confident and playing well. Then the neck injury derailed his season, which sucks. But Terry Rozier going into his 10th season, turning 30 years old, and we need Terry Rozier to help us on the offensive end. That's why we got Terry Rozier last season, was to help us offensively. The Miami Heat were 27th in the league in points per game, 21st in offensive rating. So the Miami Heat have struggled in the past few seasons during the regular season, and that's due to injuries and not having elite all-star scoring players like the Kevin Durant's or the Steph Currys of the world or the Luka Doncic's. We have Jimmy and Bam, who are better two-way type of all-stars, who are good offensive players. They're going to average, 20 to 21 points per game, but they're not going to get you 28 or 30 points per game like the other superstars I mentioned. So Terry Rozier can come in and be that fourth scorer on this Miami Heat roster behind, a Bam, a Jimmy, and a Tyler Hero. So Terry Rozier also, there was an article also that came out that said Terry Rozier has seen all of the talk this offseason, and he said he's going to respond the right way. So he sees people talking crap. And so he was asked, again, what should we expect of him in his full Miami Heat season with a full training camp under his belt? He said, it's just a wait and see. That's why I stayed off all the podcast. I don't do all the talking. My game speaks for itself. It's always been like that. This summer, I've been seeing all the talk. I don't know if people have been bored or whatever, but I see it all, so I'm going to respond the right way. which I think is great. I mean, if Terry can take the fuel from folks saying that he's not good enough, him and Tyler Hero can't be a successful backcourt duo. They're redundant, or Terry Rozier's too small. He takes tough, difficult shots. He's inconsistent. He's not a great playmaker. People have been saying these things, and I think none of that is necessarily true. I think he's actually our best playmaker, probably our best ball handler. And he's our starting point guard. And even though he's not a true point guard, he's the best option at it. And again, he is probably our best, like, all around offensive player. And I think he's a better three-level scorer than Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero is close. Tyler Hero is a similar player, has a similar appetite in terms of the types of shots he takes, in terms of the three-pointers, the mid-range, the difficult, like, fadeaway shots, step back threes, sidestep shots. They're both similar players, but I think overall, Terry is a better three-level scorer. He can get to the cup better than Tyler Hero and finish better at the rim. Um, I mean, he's more streaky, I would say, um, than Tyler Hero, but I still think he's a better all-around three-level scorer, and that's something that the Miami Heat desperately needs next season. Is for Terry to take the reins and for him to make difficult shots, for him to step up when there are injuries. If Bam is struggling, or if Jimmy Butler's out, or if there's other injuries throughout the team, he needs to step up and be a primary ball handler and scorer and distributor for this Miami Heat team. So he has a big role next season. And I think, again, Jimmy doesn't want to be the alpha offensively during the regular season. Bam Adebayo is more focused on defense and rebounding and doesn't need the ball in his hands to be effective, right? He could be a lob threat. He can move off ball with the ball in his hands, though. Obviously, Bam Adebayo can create, for his teammates and for himself. But we don't need the ball necessarily always in Bam's hands or Jimmy's hands, for that matter. We have Tyler and Terry who can take on that offensive load. And I'm hoping this duo can mesh well, build that chemistry. They only played 12 or 13 games together last season, so we don't know if this necessarily works or not. That's such a small sample size. And so we'll see if they start together. They're obviously going to play together at times, whether they start together or not. They will probably be staggered, of course, at times, but they're still going to share the court together. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited that Terry is motivated to prove folks wrong. It's always great when someone's motivated during an off season and wants to show out the following season to prove doubters wrong. So we'll see how effective Terry will be for this Miami Heat team. I'm excited that he's finally healthy, that he's playing 5-on-5, that he's ready for training camp, and hopefully this could be the season where the Miami Heat are finally healthy for one time in the Jimmy Butler build, and we'll see if we have one last shot with this team to see if we can make a deep playoff run. So anyway, that's all I have for today's video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and thanks again.